Hello, welcome to Le Podcast. Today is the beginning of welcoming back myself to this podcast. So let's give myself a round of applause. Claps,
Woo!
claps, claps.
Yeah, we got him back.
Hey, it's back. Hey, poggers
And
in
we
the
got the
comments for
usual
Kenny.
crew. We got Jim, Dean, and Paul. And Jeffrey is taking a break still? Question mark.
I think it's more than break at this
It's
point.
more than a break.
Oh, probably a little bit, yeah.
And today we'll be talking about what again?
Pretty much growing up.
Teens
growing up.
versus adults.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it's been quite a while since your last here, Kenny. And now we finally revived you. We had an extra set of Dragon Balls ready, but then Jeffrey was like, "Nah, bro, I'm gonna stay dead." We're like, "Oh, okay then."
Yeah.
Is that how that works? I never watched Dragon Ball. Is that how that works?
Yes, if
You
you'd
can,
like
you can just
to
say
stay-
no.
Yeah, you can
No.
say no.
No, you can't say no. But we asked them just to make sure,
We don't want to waste our wish, you know.
Yeah. Just in case we want like free cheeseburgers or something instead.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, welcome back, Kenny. It's been I forgot when the last time you were on, but yeah, welcome back. And mind telling what happened to you? What happened to you? Across the
I think I left to go babysit,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I came back, I thought I'd be free to join, but I had to work, and I think that was it.
All right.
Yeah, what's crazy to me is like, you had to go back to work instead of
Yeah. Because you're
Yeah.
gone for basically like a month.
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, your situation is not a
Mhm.
simple one, so it was good for you.
Just gotta make some monies.
Yeah. But anyways, I thought of the topic because it was after Dean's brother was being sought off into the he's going off to Air Force boot camp to
Oh,
become
yeah.
an airman. So I thought you know what, I was just comparing how now that I'm like quite a couple years older than when I was at that age. Not that I went to the military or anything, but when I was seeing my friends off to the military, I was like,
Mhm.
things are a little different now compared to back then because because he's now entering a pretty significant chapter of his life, and yeah, it's just like that. It's just a moment of leaving that the young adult part of you behind as you take a step into this new thing, and I guess we can start off with how different it is now that we're older compared to back then. Because for you guys, it's been 8 years since you guys graduated. And for me, it's been 6 years. But in that short amount of time, I can feel a lot of differences in my life compared to back then. Because I think back then being a teenager was just so much more easier and more simple compared to now, and it's only going to get even more complicated and more difficult as we get older. But yeah, I think one thing that to start off is that when you're a teenager, dude, you have so little worries about things. You just move from day to day life, and you don't have to think about whatever.
Mhm.
Like when you're in high school, your only thought is yeah, I just need to pass my classes and then graduate. And then after I graduate, I'm gonna do this. But you have to worry about that for a while because you're just worry about one things at a time. But now
Mhm.
we're like, shit. Do I want to stay here in school or do I want to stay here at this job? And then now we have to make a lot bigger decisions than we used to. And then if we stop doing college, then you have to be like, okay, what do I do now? Or if we quit our job, then you have to be like, oh shit, what other job can I do that can be better for me? Yeah, just the responsibilities has gone
Yeah.
a lot harder.
Yep.
Like with you, Dean, you're going through the phases of getting a house.
Yeah, it sucks. But it's so close that yo, this is gonna be worth it. And
Mm-hmm.
like at the end, like I'm losing a lot of money, but it'll
Mm-hmm.
be worth it once the house is there and get my own room and all that stuff.
I mean, I guess it is kind of different, but I don't know. I don't know if it really feels that much different from being like a teenager or being an adult. Like, sure, you get like a little bit more responsibilities, and you still have like worries, but it's just like a different set of worries that instead of like focusing so much on like grades, school,
Mm-hmm.
how your peers and your classmates think about you, trying to like fit in and all that. It more or less just transfers over to when you're adult to like other things. It's just like instead of like, oh, worry about how your peers feel about you, it's like your coworkers. And instead of grades, it's like how your job performance is
Mm-hmm.
and all that.
It's not exactly 1-to-1 though, because
It's not 1-to-1.
like with money, for example, like with money, when you're a teenager, it's not something you worry about very much because usually most teenagers don't work.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they get a job like their senior year or something, but they're working at like a milk tea place or a retail job that doesn't pay very
Starbucks.
much.
Fuck.
So but besides those people, most people are like going through day to day life, or
Mm-hmm.
teenagers are going through day to day life with like an allowance maybe, or money they've saved up across the years to get things. Whereas if once you're an adult, like you have the added responsibility of money management, where like
Paying rent,
you yeah, you have to worry about like, okay, I have to pay like the phone bill or the rent, and
groceries.
yeah, like you have more money to work with because usually once you're older and an adult, even if you're like just going to college and you're working at like like Baskin Robbins or something, you still have to think about like, okay, I have a lot more money now than I used to back then, but now I have to like
Mm-hmm.
think about more about how I'm spending this money,
Yeah,
It's
but
and
more of
it's
the
not.
pressure's a lot different. Like once you become an adult, it's like, oh, you gotta worry about this and that and all that
Uh,
crap.
yeah,
I
You're
don't know.
like,
I hard disagree. I feel as though it's really not that much different. I mean, like you're making money. It's like, oh, you're making money. How much of your income and how much you're going to spend it like for bills or taxes or whatnot. It's really not that difficult. Really, it's just like, all right, here's my budget, and here's how I could spend it.
Well, that's all you think.
maybe
But
yeah.
maybe you're thinking about the transition from going from teenager to adult, but then
Mm-hmm.
like if you compare like the active roles of an adult has versus a teenager, typically the adult has like a lot more to worry about and a lot more to take
Like
into
you, yeah,
consideration.
you have more responsibilities, but I don't know. I fail to see how it's that big of a leap or difference. It's just like instead of like having more responsibilities, it's just different responsibilities to me. Like let's say if you go to like university or college, that's like a transitionary period. Like I don't know, maybe it's because like with the pandemic or just like how I set things up, I'm currently not working. Or even if I was working, like after I graduated from university, I had far less worries as an adult than I did as a teenager. And one could ascertain that with me not having to worry about paying the bills because I still will live with my parents, which is probably a very big factor in how I view things right now. I'm like, it's not that big of a difference, but I don't have that many worries. Like when I go to work and I do my job, I do my work and I do my job there. And then once I go home, like I don't have to worry about it anymore. Whereas when I was like a teenager in high school or going to university, I'm like, okay, I have my classes, I have stuff to study for, my I have homework and studies that I have to worry about. Whereas when it comes to just like doing your regular job, it's just like, okay, you have your work worries, you leave it there. If you have once you come home, like, okay, I could turn my brain off. I don't worry about it anymore.
But the
you cut out, sir.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
man,
I think he's gone.
man, just that. See, that's just how strong my argument was. All right, I just could not come up with rebuttal. It's just
No, I
going.
think it's
Alright.
via experience also. Because
am I good?
yeah, you're good.
There you
You're
go.
good.
Welcome
You're good.
back.
I was saying that, but you're not taking account that being a teenager, you always have someone looking over you, though. Like whether it's like a high school teacher or your parents, like you have to you have to like take responsibility to a certain extent. But then there's always someone you're trying to like please, or just only trying to like meet their expectations, right? Like with parents, they're like, okay, we expect you to pass your classes, and then you have to study or whatever. But once you're an adult though, and then you go off to college or you get a job, how you do is completely up to you. Like, yeah, maybe you have a boss and then you have professors still, but then they don't really care that much if you do a good job or a shitty job. Like if you do a shitty job, then and that's completely on you. They don't do anything to help accommodate for you or be like, hey, okay, so you fucked up. This is how to this is how to prevent this from you fucking up in the future. They're just like, oh, okay, you're fucked up. Well, you know, you gotta try again. And so you have to like push yourself a lot more once you're an adult. Which is like,
I don't know. I don't know. This doesn't sound like rocket science to me. It's just like
No, it's not rocket science. It's
yeah. I mean, unless your job is literally rocket science when you graduate. But I don't know.
maybe you see it differently because you like the rest of us are still living with our families, so like we don't have that kind of step. But even then, like even that is still like a pretty big list of responsibilities compared to when you're a teenager, where you have to worry about less. Maybe it's like harder now. Maybe it was harder back then to a certain extent, or in certain ways that is not now. But in a large part, I think you're not taking into account that you yourself have like changed or transitioned from one state of mind to another compared to back then.
No, it's definitely like a change of state of mind. That's why I just said like instead of like having, I mean, yeah, there is like some added responsibilities, but for the most part, it's just more just like a transition of like responsibilities you had as a teenager to responsibilities you had from being a young adult and then being into an adult. It's I don't know. It just seems it doesn't seem like that much of a change. It's just like okay, you have a different role now.
yeah. My transition's like teenager, being an adult, and then being a young adult.
Pretty much.
But that's mostly because you moved back in, though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, when you were out by yourself, like, I'm pretty sure life for you was like a lot different than it is compared to like now, where you were in charge of yourself more, and then like no one's there to teach you, how to not fuck up whenever you fucked up, right?
Yeah, it's usually you either fucking own up to your mistakes or you're a goddamn piece of shit. That was it. Like, there's no in between of those.
Like if you failed like for example, if you failed high school, you don't like lose anything out of that, really. I mean, like if you're like really failing a lot of classes, maybe you graduate later, or maybe you get like a GED or some other route. But but like if you fail classes, they're going to help. I mean, unless you go to like a really poor area where they just don't really care. But in that, I'm certain in most cases, if you're like failing classes in high school, they are like, hey, here's how you can bounce back. This is how you can make up for it. Whereas like if you're like in college and then you're failing classes, they're like, well, shit, bro, like try again, but you still got to pay for us, and then you still got to pay for it, and you have to like adjust that to. Usually, a lot of people have work as well, and you have to like consider all the other factors as well. Whereas with high school, you just like you show up this time, you get out this time, and then you do whatever you do at home, whether there's like homework or studying or whatever, and then you just kind of do that day to day.
Well, isn't that just an argument then? Like, it's not so much that it's harder or more difficult, but in the fact that when you're younger, you have more of a safety net. So if you do mess up or somehow fall through the cracks, you're like able to like pick yourself up easier compared to when you're an adult.
Yeah, and wouldn't that be considered easier than when you're an adult because you have more something to fall back on? Whereas as an adult, you don't have as much to fall back on.
I mean, I don't think it's like so much more that it's harder. I think you have more to lose, but
it's like if you're playing a game and you have like 5 lives compared to like 2 lives. You like by definition, that's already like easier than having 5 lives is already easier than having 2 lives.
Not really. Let's say like you're playing a game and you have like if you're playing a game and you're playing on hard difficulty with 3 lives, but you're also playing a game that's on hard difficulty with 5 lives. It doesn't change the difficulty of the game. It's still hard, but you have more chances to mess up when you have 5 as compared to 3. Like the difficulty is
No,
still
it
exactly
is
the
it
same.
is it is more difficult because you have less lives to work with.
Yeah,
But
you have less to work with, but the
yeah,
difficulty
you
is
have
still
less
the
to work
same.
with, so you have less time to get to like, or less you have less mistakes to make. Like that in itself is already more difficult. Like for example, if you're playing a game, the difference between you and a pro player in that game is that the pro player makes less mistakes than you, and so when he's playing the game, he's having an easier time than you because you're making more mistakes than he is.
I mean, yeah, that's true to an extent, but
No,
I think
that's pretty much universal when it comes to like, oh, being able to make more or less mistakes in something. Like if you're able to make more mistakes and have something to fall back on, that's by definition easier than having less lives or less attempts to fail.
I don't know. For me, it just feels like when you're an adult, you just have like slightly more responsibilities, or it's just different responsibilities. Because I would argue my life was harder while I was going to university when I had to juggle both school and going to work. But it was like harder for university. But when I went to high school, it was easier than being an adult. But being an adult was also easier than being while going to university. It's it's just like for me, it's just like adding on how much responsibilities you have and how well you're able to adapt to that change.
I mean, when it comes to being adaptable, yeah, but that's like more like an individual thing rather than like a whole like broad thing where you compare one broad aspect of life compared to another.
I mean, isn't that what it all really is though? Just like going through a swath, like, okay, how hard was it being as a teenage, like how easy was it being a teenager compared to being an adult? Isn't that also just like being a whole swath, just like a whole generalization when you're younger compared to when you're older?
That's because when you make a generalization about being a teenager versus being an adult, there's like a big pool of data you can use, or a big pool of experiences you can use to determine like, okay, this is what a teenager typically goes through versus this is what an adult typically goes through, and you can compare it to and see, okay, this is what a typical teenage experience has versus what this typical adult has. Whereas like if you go off of like, hey, based off of my experience, like like it is like comparable. That's not really like exactly the same thing though.
I mean, yeah, but then you're just going off like a case by case basis then, because like no one has exact same experience.
No one
Like,
says. No, I'm not saying case by case. Like I'm making like a generalization based off of multiple accounts compared to just saying like, hey, it's different from this guy, but it's also this guy's life is different from this guy. So you can't really say that that comparatively that being a teenager is equal or harder or easier than being an adult in in many ways.
yeah, I mean, many people would agree with you if you said like, yeah, being a teenager is easier than being an adult in like many cases. But I don't know. There's a point I was trying to make. But I was trying to argue though that being an adult, I don't think it's that big of a jump in difficulty compared to being a teenager. Because one would argue that when you're a teenager, it's a little bit harder because you're still going through that growth. You don't have as much information about the world as when you grow up, when you get older. And, the whole thing with like puberty, that whole chemical reaction thing going through your body that just makes you like make a lot of terrible decisions that as you grow older, when you gain that experience, you're like, oh, okay. So I kind of view it like selecting a difficulty in the game. Like you start off like with the easy difficulty, you play the game again, you go up to normal, then you go up to hard. But even though you pick a harder difficulty and you have more of a debuff when you get to harder difficulties, the game isn't that much harder compared to when you first played the game for the very first time, when you're trying to learn the ropes, when you're trying to learn the mechanics of the game. Because by then you're experienced enough, like, okay, this is what I need to look out for, and I know how to counter it. So even though it's quote unquote harder, it's not that much harder because you know what to expect. But when you're like first joining the workforce, yeah, you could say like there's a jump in difficulty. It's harder to get things done, but over time, it does like even out a little bit.
I mean, if you're talking about like, oh, okay, like if you're going from normal difficulty, you're playing for a while, and then you go into hard difficulty, you're going for a while. Like after a while, yeah, eventually it gets easier, but it's only because you spend more time in it. But it doesn't mean that harder, the jump from easy to hard or normal to hard, or the experience of harder is easier than being normal. Though it just means that okay, you spent more time as an adult to figure it out, but it doesn't necessarily mean that is as equal to being a teenager or easier than being a teenager though.
No, it's not. It's not equal. Definitely not. But I'm just saying, it's the leap. I don't think is that huge as much as you guys are thinking.
I think maybe you're like a little bit biased because you went through that yourself, and then now you're like taking the step towards towards OCS. So you're like, okay, like for me, it's not so hard because I got used to it. But if you isolate the variables and look at like side by side, I'm pretty sure that most people would say like, yeah, being an adult is harder. It doesn't mean that I can't handle it, but it just means that now I have more stuff to deal with, or at that that is like or in some aspects harder than what I went through when I was a teenager.
Yeah, and you would be right in that I do have like some sort of bias to my own experience because it literally is my experience. So it's just how the lens I view it. But for me, it wouldn't be that being an adult is harder than being a teenager. My argument would be like it was like almost the opposite, that being a teenager or going through college was harder than being an adult. So that's just my personal experience. And I don't think it's like as clean cut of a generalization as you guys are making it out to be.
But anyway, this is all tangential, all right. But I still think you're like kind of missing the mark there. Maybe I'm just not explaining it as well as I could.
We're
but
comparing it via Paul's via from college experience till now. As for your teen experience, it's like for like going through college, right, Paul?
I think Paul sees like being like, for example, being a college student isn't like really typically an experience of an adult, because it's like it's like that transition period from being a teenager to an adult, where it's like like you still have the characteristics of a teenager, but you're slowly learning more about like your identity and who you are as you like get older, so that once you're an adult, you're like fully developed from how you were in high school or something along those lines.
Yeah, sorry, boss, I can't relate. I'm doing college as an adult.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's not because that you guys explained it weird or wrong, or you guys are missing the mark. I think it's legitimately just like I just have a disagreement. Like I simply just don't agree with your statement, in that being an adult is more difficult than being a teenager. Because then I would have to like agree to the generalization that yeah, it's mostly the case. Whereas I have to view it in a case by case basis for like an individual. And even though it's like it tends to generally be easier for teenagers, like let's say like most of the time, it still leaves out a large portion of people who do struggle when they are younger because of just like personal circumstances and all that. And I don't know.
I mean, of course, like it varies between person to person, but when it comes to making generalizations, like you can't take into account case by case, because you have to look at the broad like generalization of people though.
I guess it depends like how much of a generalization you think it is. Like, is it true for 80% of teenagers, or is the number more like 60-40?
Like if it's like okay, 70% of teenagers, like okay, if 70% of teenagers have this like their script of like, oh high school and then going out to college, and then maybe they get like a job while they're in college, and then they get a job using their degree or whatever. If that's 80% of people, I don't, obviously I don't know the numbers, but if that's 80% of people, then yeah, this is like this. That's what we use to say like, okay, uh, this is the typical life, and then you go look like, okay, this is the typical teenage experience, and this is the typical adult experience, and these are the responsibilities that come across these 80% of people. Of course, there's 20% of people that we're leaving out, but then that 27% of people isn't a significant number to use as like to use in making statements or generalization or analysis of what the life experience is like, because those 20% of people are not the majority, and you have to take into account the 80% that's already there. But if it comes to like, okay, how do we solve this problem? How do we make life better for those 20% of people? Then you can go you can individualize the factors of life there. But then when it comes to like saying like, hey, this is how it is versus and this is how it is for most people, those 20% of people aren't really relevant in this broad like discussion, or in this broad statement of how things are.
Then I guess the main disagreement then would be like how big of a number is this broad generalization, because like let's say you view it as 80-20, but I view it more as like 60-40 instead. Obviously, if I view it more as like 60-40, then the generalization to me feels like a lot less accurate, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't think either of us know what
none of us
number is, but just depend. Like even 60-40 is still, it's not significant, but still like a pretty it's still a pretty good like number to go off of. But again, yeah, it could be better. But
like the 40, the 40 to me still seems like super significant of a number compared to like the 20, because then if it's like that's almost, it's not completely 50-50, but it's almost half, and I think that's just like, it's hard to just count like 40% of anything.
Yeah
because playing Fire Emblem or any turn-based game, 40%, that's a big number. All right, it may not seem like a lot, but still a big number. That's a huge chance to miss or crit or whatever.
All right. Well, I mean, okay. Well, let's go back to the topic, because we could make this a debate podcast, but then we're leaving out Kenny, who just came back. So,
it's like Kenny comes back and like, no, let's do the debate.
If you guys keep
want a
going,
podcast,
don't even worry. Don't even worry.
If you guys want a debate podcast, let us know. We'll do this some other time. But yeah, I think one thing that is harder, though, I must say, as an adult versus being a teenager, I think all of us can agree with this. It is harder to make friends, because when you're in high school, right? Being a teenager, like you become friends with people pretty easily because you're stuck with them. Like if you're sitting next to like Mark in English class, and you guys are gonna be working together on homework, like, it's easy to become friends with that guy. And then maybe like after class he's like, hey, you want to hang out or something. Whereas with being an adult, this is different from Kenny's experience, because Kenny is currently working, so it's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. But meeting friends is a little bit harder, because in college, when you're stuck in class with someone, you're not stuck with them the entire year. You're just stuck with them for like a semester or a quarter, and then you never have to see each other ever again. Like even if you guys are studying the same thing, you don't have to hang out. And maybe you guys each already have friend groups, so you guys don't really feel like, oh shit, you gotta have friends. You don't feel like you guys have to make friends with each other as much. And then I think Kenny can speak for his own experience for work. I'm assuming with work it's a little harder as well, because you're just there to get a paycheck.
For work, I mean,
it depends where you work, of course. But,
I feel like try and make friends at work is a little bit easier, I guess,
compared to like high school or like to college.
Than college, I say, since depending on how long you'll be working there, of course, like you'll be making friends with your coworkers, and then like when you're talking to customers, like there'll be those customers that come in like on a regular basis, they become your regular, and then you end up being cool with them. Mm-hmm. And then every now and then they'll be like, oh, like there's a party. I'm having a party. This and that. If you like, come by. That person will invite you, and then from there, they'll introduce you to some of their friends. Then your network just expands that way.
Yeah.
I feel like it just depends on the person, which how they feel, which way is easier.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I would assume it also depends on the job too. I imagine it's a lot
Mhm.
harder to make friends in like for example, like retail, like if because you're all in your own like department, so you don't get to
Mhm.
like see each other very much.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas with like if you work at like Baskin Robbins, like because it's like a small store, you're near each other like all the time, so
Mhm.
you make the best of it. Whereas like yeah, like I said in retail, like you don't get to talk to each other as much unless you guys all go on break or some shit. But I doubt that happens in retail. Um, and also in high school, the thing that was easier when you're a teenager is that like there's always like a clique for people, like because
Mhm.
like there's like clubs and there's also like for example RTC.
Mhm.
Um, RTC kind of put everyone in RTC together because you're near each other the whole time, so it's a lot easier to make friends that way. But then, like,
Yeah.
if you're in college, from my experience, I didn't join any fucking clubs. I was just like, I just want to go
Same.
home,
Yeah. Same.
and so it's a lot harder for me to make friends in college. Not that I wasn't friendly with people because I was, but not enough for me to want to hang out with them after school all the time or anything. So yeah,
Uh, I'm gonna be odd man out on this one too, but I generally it is true, but then they would also have to consider like is the question mostly making friends, or does the question also involve keeping those friends over a long period of time? Because it's sometimes it's easy for people to make friends, but they don't keep those friends for a long time because either it's like very surface level, or you
yeah,
change paths and you like move on. Because I think it's easy for us to say like, yeah, we made a lot of friends in high school because we're still friends from high school all these years later, like almost like 10 years later. Whereas some people, they make friends in high school, and then once they graduate and they go to like university or different jobs, they just like, all right, they're on my friends list on Facebook, but that's pretty much it.
mm-hmm.
I think because that's not really like a tight friend group. It just depends on the people
I mean,
and you as an individual.
I guess that mostly depends on like your status with the other person. Like if you're like if you only talk to each other like in class but not out of class, then you're in my eyes, you guys aren't really friends. You guys are more like just like friendly acquaintances.
Mm,
For me, a friend has to be someone that you would want to hang out with outside the environment that you normally see them.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
but that's just my definition. So
yeah, I mean, the way I view people making friends, it either depends on like a couple of factors. Either how much of a shared interest you guys have in a certain thing and how strong that interest is, or how much bullshit that you guys have to go through on a regular basis, whether that be tests and schools and teachers and other students and cliques, or work and how much BS you have to go through. Like, uh, it's really hard to stay awake during a graveyard shift, or when how much your manager said like, hey, yeah, no chairs, you guys can't sit down, and how much you're like, you and your coworkers, which eventually can be friends, and like, man, this sucks and this is bullshit, man. We could all bitch together.
Mhm.
So it depends on you as an individual and the job you're at.
yeah, like,
Or
I mean, if you're like an
what work.
extrovert, you're gonna make friends with people like no matter where you go, like
Mhm.
because you're just the sort of person you are. But yeah.
Yep. And there's another thing. There's another thing I was about to say, but I forgot what it was. So I'll hand it off to one of you lads till it comes back to me.
Damn, Jim.
Yeah.
Paul
I mean,
calls it coworker.
I know I've been coworker zone.
Coworker, not
No,
friends.
I know.
Not
I'm
friends.
Yeah.
Coworker. Oof.
So, what about you, Dean? I guess yours is a little different because you're attending college from when you were 22, 23.
They're all
Which-
fucking children.
Yeah, which puts you a little older
They're all
than everyone else.
children. They're not friends. They're all children. I'm just babysitting.
Have you made friends or made friends in college or not really?
My
In
speech
your
class.
experience?
Made friends in my speech class with my group mates. Like we just hit it off together, and it was just like But I just talked to them here and there,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's rough out here, man. It's not the same.
Yeah, I bet like the age thing kind of separates you guys a little bit because
Yeah,
there's like less to relate to them,
it's a
right?
big gap.
Mm.
Their fucking lingo, shit like cap, boomer. I don't know, man. I was just like, what the fuck's a boomer?
Yeah, I guess it is generally true though when you guys say like it is harder to make friends as you get older because of those added responsibilities or the change in or the type of responsibilities you get as you grow older because
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to like if you throw marriage into the mix and having a children into the mix and how much time in the day you have compared to when you're younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because you can be like the most sociable person in the world and be incredibly extroverted, always like talking to people, strangers, whatnot. But then at the end of the day, when you have like other responsibilities you have to focus on, like taking care of the family or the kids, then yeah, you don't have that kind of time anymore. It's not like
yeah.
hard per se, but it's definitely like a change of pace, really.
But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
yeah, yeah.
I generally agree with that. I don't know why you say change of pace when you meant harder, but let's just leave it at that.
No, I mean
But
it. No, I don't mean harder. I mean a change of pace. We're going back to that. Going back to our previous debate.
but but anyway, yeah, no, for sure. Like when you have other stuff to do, like it does take time from you, like making friends with someone. Uh, yeah, at work or something. Because you don't have as much time to invest into someone that you don't know
Yeah.
as much. Because like the thing about our group, which is different from other groups, is or not I mean not like we're not like hipster in that way. I meant like compared to
We're
like
great. We're amazing.
other
We're
friend groups.
tight as shit. We're like this. You guys can't see me right now. I'm like crossing my fingers.
Is that we all like know each other from high school. Like even
We
though
were
I
in a
wasn't.
cult, and we all got up.
God, it's kind of a cult. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a cult.
No, yeah, it kind of was, but
Yeah.
yeah, we all know each other from back then. So like, even though I didn't talk to Dean and you and Jeffrey as much after like or during high school, like I knew like enough about you guys to kind of get a feel of how you guys are like.
Mhm.
Not some people are different from back then than others, but
Yeah.
But I kind of got how everyone was like, so it was easier to make friends with you guys because we all had the common experience of like RTC and all the bullshit that comes up with that. Sorry, Jeff, I didn't mean to say bullshit. All right, Jeff, RTC was great.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, but we all had the same experience, so it was easy for us to relate to each other. And then because of that, and because we kept hanging out even after high school, or we hung out after high school, we were able to stay friends and be part of this podcast and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's yeah, it's a lot different from like us like meeting each other after high school from scratch and trying to figure out like what the other people are like and
Yeah.
going off of that.
Yeah, I think once you're at a certain age, you'll know what type of group or friends you're looking for, or people that you're looking for, and that's when you're like, okay, like like for me example, like if they talk about anime and other stuff, maybe like or computer stuff, I'm like, okay, I might be interested in investing this guy to be my friend because we have something relatable to talk about,
Yeah.
And he doesn't come as fucking douchey.
Would it be fair to say that, or accurate to say that our friend group is a high school friend group, or would it be more accurate to say like ours is more like a college or transitionary friend group after graduation?
I think
I think
we knew each other from high school, and even though I was mostly friends with like Jeffrey mostly, and then Kenny to like a lesser extent. But then I kind of talked to Dean, and I just kind of saw Jim and like, all right, he's underclassmen or younger classmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Ours
you
didn't
mean
really
Jim
form
as your
until
follower?
kind of, but ours didn't really form until like a couple years later after we all graduated from high school.
Yeah, besides, I think Kenny is the only person in this group that I've spoken to. I think I mentioned this in the first episode of the podcast, where he's the only one I've talked to consistently 30 years, so it's a little different for me and him.
Mm-hmm.
But with me and you guys, it's I consider you guys more to be my college friends, even though we know each other from high school. It's not exactly like, you know, obviously like we met each other in college or anything.
It's not like college friends in traditional sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the college friends, the friends I made while I was in college that I knew about back then, but I didn't really hang out with very much until later on, and that's kind of what I classify you guys as. It's just like, it's not college friends, more like friends that I went to college with, but I knew from high school, and that's kind of hard for you guys. But it's different. I know it's different for you guys because you guys are all relatively like the same age. You guys have known each other longer, hung out longer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Bro, I just keep it simple. It's just friends. I don't like, you know.
No, but you make different groups of, you have different groups of friends though. Like for me, I have like my high school RTC friends that I was friends with when I was in high school, and then I have my other friends from the internet. And then I have you guys. Like there's distinctions. Like you don't really.
There's
like,
definitely distinctions.
Yeah.
You can't put them all in the same category.
Mm-hmm. There's like different circles that you have.
Yeah.
And even to like some extent, you even like I reckon you probably even act a little bit different. Like in each of these groups, like you have generally the same personality. You are still the same person, but how you act in those different groups may change to some extent depending who you're talking to. Like we all have like different faces.
Yeah, like with my friend JC, like whenever I hang out with him, I like revert to my high school self around him.
Mm-hmm.
Where like I act a lot more goofy and less less you know, the way I make jokes in this group. That's one way that I'm different in other groups for sure. But yeah, what about you guys?
No, still the same. Still the same guy that likes to make jokes about some random shit. I don't know. Because I just like the way I talk to people is like, okay, you know, I don't like, okay, these guys, like, you know, like, these guys don't like this fucking joke. So I'm you know, but my other group friends like this fucking joke. Like, nothing. It's just, I'll say the joke. If they don't like it, they don't like it. It's like, you know, I'm still acting the same. Like,
we meant like acting different in a sense that like it's not like you're consciously making decisions like how to act. It's just like, you know, when you hang out with them, maybe like you have like a different role, or maybe granted, I'm not saying like, you know, like you can't be the same in all three.
It's probably like more
groups.
subconscious than anything.
Yeah. Like you know,
like how you make certain jokes. Like let's say like one group, as you said, like one group likes this joke as compared to this other group who's like not that much fan of that joke. You would probably like, okay, I'm just change it up a little bit so I can only do this joke for this one group and not for this other. Like,
hell no, everyone's gotta listen to joke, fam.
Okay, all right. I guess
like,
Dean's a true man, true individualist.
Yeah, I think the point we're trying to make to you, Dean, is like if you're hanging out with like a group. I'm not saying you have these groups, but if you hang out with one group that's like really sensitive about jokes, where like they get their feelings hurt really easily, versus another group where like they don't give a fuck what joke you make, whether it's like racist or edgy or whatever. If you're hanging out with a sensitive group, chances are you probably won't be like, okay, you know, gotta let out that joke, gotta let them know. I know they won't like it, but they gotta hear it, you know. Whereas with the other group, you just feel more free to say whatever you want. But you probably don't have the first group as a group of friends, so you know it doesn't apply to you. But
yeah.
To each their own then.
Anyway,
what was our original point before we got into that little tangent with the friend groups? College friends, high school friends. When we met, and actually hung out as a group. There we go.
Yeah, like with Kenny. Kenny, how do you see us? Do you see us as like your high school buddies? or like you know?
For me, I just have like two general classification. I just have my inner friends and just friends. You guys are in my inner friends, so
Hey, I'll take
Yeah,
Hey,
it.
you
my
made the
my
list,
my
Hey.
boys.
thing is
friends
something like
like
that too.
like just the everyday people I talk to, hang out with,
Hmm.
just like basically like another family member, you know.
Yeah, mine's
I
like
So
can
yeah,
see that. Yeah.
family, like close enough to be family, and then the friends that like I talk once in a while.
hmm
Yeah,
So for you guys, it would be like one inner circle, one outer circle, and then
pretty much.
people go in either one. Okay.
Yeah,
Because for me, I have like it's like a Venn diagram shit where it's like, some circles like some circles have people that are closer in into like the middle. There's some people in that circle that are more out where I'm like less close to them, and then some people I'm
Hmm.
close to, and some people I'm not. Like Jason, for example, I'm close to him, but it's not exactly the same friend group as this one where I feel close to you guys.
Agreed. I don't know if I really have. I may have had an outside group a couple years ago, but I think over time I just kind of like stopped talking to them for various reasons.
Yeah,
Usually it's like drama related stuff. You guys probably know which group I'm talking about, and then I kind
no,
of
I
just like,
don't.
eh.
hey,
That's
that's
all.
not out there's the podcast.
All right. And then I just more like hung out with the inner group, which is you guys and Jeffrey and Ron.
They're like the
And
border.
yep.
The way you said
And
and Jeffrey and Ron.
they're
It's
like
they're at the border.
even my inner group has like tiers lists.
Uh, just the way Paul said it.
Nah, it's more just like Jeffrey's.
Hey,
It's
when
not
you
me
making
and him having a conversation right now.
when are you making a friends tier list stream, bro? I want to watch.
Oh, or do like tier lists, like S tier, A tier, all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, don't do
Friends.
don't do that.
yeah.
Funny,
Do
it's an
it, do
idea.
it.
Someone has to.
Someone
I have
has
to put. Someone has to go to the F tier.
All right, sorry, buddy, you made the list. No.
Can we do it via Facebook friends list? Or
Oh,
just-
Bro, imagine all the people that unfriend you after that.
would they even care though? How many people like go on Facebook really? these
Exactly.
days?
I don't care. Like I'm only on Facebook for like maybe 3 people. That's about it. I'm mostly on Facebook for Messenger just to talk to people.
Yeah.
I
Even
go
then-
on for Messenger when I don't feel like typing on my phone, or if every now and then something big happens politically, and I want some really hot takes on Facebook.
Yeah.
For me, it's the Messenger, and the Facebook Market because
All right.
there's a lot of deals and sales that goes fucking. Some shit just like damn. I want to buy this, but I just can't because gotta save up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like people don't generally care about their friend list unless they're like super like look how popular I am. I have 2,000 friends. Then, it's not like they talk to all 2,000 of those people like regularly or anything.
Yeah, bro. One time I tried to post something and Paul fucking went nuts.
Wasn't that thing
It was
like
the riddle.
the riddle?
You were like,
yeah.
yo, what is this? Is this 2012?
It's like, is this 2011? Like, what the fuck are you doing, D? This is all this shit. No one does this anymore. Get the fuck out.
I did it for shits and giggles, and Paul fucking lost his mind.
For like, there's probably a very high chance I would not have seen it, but I just decided to go on Facebook that day. That's the first thing that popped up on my feed. I'm like, damn, what the fuck are you doing?
It
It's outdated.
was very boring that day.
I bet you were.
So you know what? Why not? It's a good riddle.
Mm.
Oh, you know what's one good thing about being an adult over a teenager though?
What?
You get less boners. Fuck that, dude. I hate it. Like I had boners like all the fucking time when I was a teen, dude. Oh, that was so annoying. I was like, bro, get down. What are you doing? Get down.
Yeah.
Like in
the
class,
random-
it would just randomly pop up. You're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
the random ones in class and like, oh man, just like especially when it's like almost time to leave class. And you're just like, fuck, you gotta get down, because I'm not gonna fucking stand up and you fucking pitching a tent.
Or you had to do like the binder thing, where you just like put it right in front of you while you walk.
Yeah.
Dude, I had one once when I was about to present. I was just like, I was just
Oh
like,
yeah, I hated those.
I heard you had to squat, so I was trying to squat a little bit as I was like walking.
What the fuck?
I was just like, down, boy, down.
Nah, I would just do the flip. I would just do the flip and you used your.
You did a backflip?
Yeah, every time I got a boner, I did a backflip. No, I would use like the underwear bands, just like to hold it in place. It was like uncomfortable, but it's the best thing you could do in that situation.
See, it's like, I wore basketball shorts every time, so you would
Same.
know.
I used to
if
wear
you-
that all the time.
Yeah, you would know
Yeah.
if I had a boner, just like, because it's
Mm.
pitching a tent. What I would do is like fucking, like either hold my breath till like it fucking softens, like it becomes flaccid again, and it's like, all right, we're good to go.
Dude, one time I was like in English class. I think it was in ninth grade, and I was just reading, and then I had a boner, and I was in my Silver Creek my gym shorts,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a boner, and then I was like, oh fuck, I feel it. And then I started people started giggling. I was like, oh no, they know.
Oh yeah, that would be so
Yeah,
awkward.
Either that was like really poor timing that fucked up my head because they started giggling out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Maybe at something else, or they were just laughing at it. I was just like, no, my social career, it's over.
It's over. You can never get married. You can never show your face in public.
But yeah, fuck that shit, dude. Now that I'm an adult, I get them like not a lot less often, but less often in general. So
I
I'm
just
glad
get-
about that.
I just get the feel of horny, not like getting a boner, but just the feel of horny, just like fuck, I'm horny, and just
Yeah, I'm kind of more or less the same as Dean. I kind of like half agree with the original statement about boners. Yeah, I definitely got more boners as a growing teenager going through puberty than I do as an adult. But
Yeah.
I think for me, as a really weird case, I definitely got more horny when I was an adult compared to a teenager. And for the obvious fact that you guys already know that, I didn't start
It's the
beating off
taste.
until I was like in my 20s.
it's the taste of flesh, Paul. It's the taste of the sugary walls.
I don't know about that. I'm not. I don't have a sugar tooth. There we go. That's the term.
Yeah. When you guys, yeah. So you guys just feel like I need to fuck instead of like just having the hard dick feeling all the time.
Yeah.
Not so much.
I
Not so
guess I
much
get
that.
that, too.
Not so much that I like need to fuck. It's just more like, huh. Sometimes when I'm like perusing through the internet, something sets me off. I'm like, oh man, I kind of want to beat off now.
I see.
Yeah.
But what about in high school though? When you had like more boners, did you like feel like I needed? Oh no, I mean I guess you didn't because you didn't.
No, I didn't.
You were a
No.
late bloomer, but
I'm really.
did you ever- well, for everyone else in this call who masturbated at a normal age,
Well, fucking
That's true. It's
outcasted.
very true.
It is true.
So when you guys got hard, did you feel like, oh, dude, I need to beat off?
No.
Or were you just like,
It was just like I'm comfortable with my
Yeah.
with
okay.
my hard dick.
Yep. It's like
but like if you were like in
just- it
private
just-
though, like if you were
it just
in
hurt down
school,
there.
if you were in private and you got hard, would you be like, oh well, shit, gotta go again, or would you just be
It's
like,
more like,
eh.
oh shit, no one's home. All right, gotta do it.
So like if the opportunity was there for you to beat
Yeah,
off, you
if it
would.
was if the opportunity was there, then yeah, it's like, because when will you ever do it? If
Mhm.
it just made it hard to sit, and I would have
Yeah,
to stand up and
very
readjust.
uncomfortable.
Like it's pretty much the same how it was in school, except now I'm in the privacy of my own home, and I can just fix it right there.
What
by
about you?
readjusting.
What about you, Kenny? Did that any change for you at all? Like, between your what's the word? Sexual, not development. Your needs, like whenever like, yeah. How's it different versus when you're younger?
I think towards like, I think it was, I want to say like towards I think going into senior high school, I think my control just became better.
Mhm.
So though I'd still get random every now and then, but I didn't have the need to like jerk off or anything. It's just more of all right. I just gotta calm it. Like try. I think of something. Try to like set it down.
Dead puppies, dead puppies. Oh no.
So imagine like someone's doing that, but they get harder, and you're like, oh shit!
What? No,
Gotta
Ram!
stay clear, stay clear.
You're just like old granny, and then you're in your mind like, damn, that granny's kind of hot. Damn, no.
That granny kind of thick though.
She's thick with 2 Q's.
Yeah, yeah. I think when you're younger, like it's hard for you to like process like those emotions. You know, it's hard to be like, this don't mean anything. I am a strong man. They just kind of like people will like fuck anything, bro. I like people. I've heard people like would like fuck couches or some shit just because like they don't know what to do with it. But anyway, that's besides the point.
When people just like hump pillows or something,
Yeah,
especially if that like those long body pillows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, at the hub, they do that too. I was like, God damn.
The hub.
I've seen a lot of people like
Yeah.
use different things for lube too. I saw one where I've seen some of these stories on Reddit where this person like
Never use icy hot as lube.
Apparently,
They-
water is also a bad lubricant too. Funnily
Yeah.
enough.
No,
they
no
they,
shower
they,
sex.
they didn't have lotion, so they used like marinara sauce instead.
Yeah, what the fuck?
They're like, well, this is the best I got, and they because they had to beat off. They're like, well, this is what I use. Then they used marinara sauce.
How'd that feel?
I don't know. What I do know is that in American Pie, this guy fucks a pie, so
I
good
think
for
that
that
was
guy.
like the American, like, it's like what they based it off, like what it felt to have sex was like, oh, it's like sticking your
Wasn't
into
it
the
just like a
warm pie.
joke though?
I have no
How would someone even know that
someone's
comparison in the
fucking-
first place? Someone had to like
someone had
think
to
in the first
stick it
place.
in.
Like,
Yeah, they're
It's like someone thought
they're
at first, like-
fingering a pie. They're like, there's other things I could do with this.
It's like, oh, this feels like what the inside feels like, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
I never asks, what's the worst post nut story you guys got? Like post nut clarity stories, or
I think
probably.
Yeah.
post nut.
Mm, I mean, mine is probably like something boring. Is like sometimes you are browsing through porn and then you find some very questionable stuff, and you're like, I've been searching for the past like 30 minutes to an hour. I really just want to get this off and continue on with my day. And so you're like, all right, whatever. It's kind of weird, and you just do your thing. You're like, all right, it's done. I don't feel good about it, but like it's done.
yeah, it's like, all right. Done.
Yep.
I think my worst is probably like I was just watching this one vid, and I think this is why I gravitate towards more POV videos now, because like I don't care about the guy at all, you know.
Yes.
I do not want to see the guy. I only want to see the girl. And then this one time I was just watching this video, and I was like stroking my meat, doing a thing, and then the fucking camera angle changes, and then like it changes so that you just see the guy's ass, and then the girl's legs are like in front of him, but then like the camera's behind the guy. So I'm just I nutted at that part, and I felt I was I was beating off to like the entire thing, but the very moment I nutted, it changed the fucking angle for no reason. I was so mad. I was just like, what the fuck? I like obviously I wasn't being up to the guy, but like I was like, why would you do this to me? Why the
Well,
fuck
well.
would
To
you
be
do
fair,
this to me?
that's not your fault. You didn't like beat off to something questionable.
It wasn't-
It was just the
That-
timing was bad.
Okay, PSA. If you beat off to guys, hey, do your thing. But that was not my intention. I just wanted to have some innocent beat off to a girl. But no, they ruined it for me. And then I felt much shame, and I instantly closed it after I was done. I was like, no, I will. This will never happen again. I will not be hurt again.
Yeah, no, I've noticed like over time, like I've already mentioned this before on the podcast as well. I have like pretty vanilla taste when it comes to porn. It's usually just like solo girl or masturbation and all
I think
that.
all of us are pretty vanilla.
We're
when we
pretty
take the
vanilla for the most
BDSM
part.
test.
But I think like even
I was
over
a six.
time, I think like and there's times like yeah, I sometimes want to watch the girl get fucked, but as with Jim, I watch like POV because like I want to do it. It's me. I don't know if that's sad or it's like me being lonely.
Yo, we're
I
but
just care about the angles, dude. I want to see a guy.
I think all of us should just invest on the VR fucking
Yeah, maybe one day.
because
I- I got my stimulus check in and I may have accidentally got the $1,400 twice because I got an extra $2,800 in my bank account today.
Lucky
We'll see how long that lasts. But yeah.
Oh, you know what you could do with the extra 1,400, Paul?
If they don't take it away from me.
Yeah, if they don't take it away, you can send it my way because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah, Paul,
I didn't get any either.
Paul got double the money because
I did. I did.
It was completely legal and he didn't bribe anybody.
That's definitely true. So if I still have it, maybe I could use that money for the VR porn headset.
I have to wait.
I
have
hear
to-
like once you do that, it's like it kind of ruins your
I hear it's hard to go back. from what I
yeah.
hear. Yeah.
Why
which
go
is-
back?
You also want to be careful with that because porn in general isn't very healthy if you do
Yeah.
it too
Yeah.
look at too much of it or watch too much
Very
of it.
true.
And then
Very true.
VR just kind of takes that a step further. So just you gotta be careful with your consumption when you do VR.
Very true. But going back to like my original point that I was talking about, like with the POV, when I said like, yeah, it could be kind of sad. When very recently when I did watch porn, it was kind of weird, but also kind of wholesome in the fact it was like more. It felt more like cuddle porn, where it just feels like, oh yeah, I just wake up in the morning, my girl's like right there and she's like sleeping and then she's like, hello. And it's just very like intimate. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. It's like, is this sad? I don't know what this is. I don't know how to
Hey,
Yes,
Paul,
that's
I'm not a
sadness.
therapist, but I just recently got a BA in psychology. You need someone to
Yeah.
talk to, let me know, all right?
No, I don't feel lonely. But I don't know why. It just like, wow, I kind of like this. For some reason, this intimacy
That is
just feels
lonely.
kind of hot.
you fuck.
This intimacy feels kind of hot. I don't know why. And
Maybe you want
'cause you were
that, dude.
lonely.
Nothing wrong with it if you do. That's like perfectly normal, dude.
yeah, it was like more one of those like amateur porn things too. So the girl looked like your every average day girl too. So like, it felt more realistic for me. So
Yeah,
that-
nothing wrong with that, man.
nothing
Okay.
wrong with it. I just found like,
It's okay if you want.
This is what I'm kind of into. Yeah,
Yeah.
guys only want one thing, and it's disgusting.
To be happy.
Just be happy, just to cuddle.
What was the meme? What was the meme? I don't want to be horny. I just want to be happy.
I don't want
Yes.
to be horny anymore. I wish to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
INF first says questionable things you've done and watched.
Uh, okay.
I mean, Hentai Night was probably like the peak for me.
Is that
I
your
was just
questionable one?
yeah, especially the first thing we
Oh,
watched.
Yeah, I guess
that was like
that one. But
I am the opposite. That was not questionable. That was a very reaffirming experience for me. Like, yes,
no,
I enjoy this.
no, not the experience of us chanting, but like the things we were watching,
The thing
Oh.
we watched.
like the
I can't-
one with the fly boob.
Yeah.
Like,
I can't say the same because I legit
Birth
pointed
food.
out whenever on Hentai Night, like, hey, I watched that. I've seen that, so I can't say anything about that.
Yeah, we already told the stories. Yeah, that's probably the peak for me for things I've watched.
Mhm.
And for things I'm done, I'm besides like the one story I already told you about the accidental bust. I don't really got much else other than that. I'm pretty boring. I think on the BDSM test, even my results were like really fucking boring too. So yeah.
For me, it would just be like a questionable thing would be if I'm watching or reading hentai, and
Oh, God.
for a lot of the time, like a lot of the good hentai, I'm just gonna say it out there, is usually involves rape. It's unfortunately this is how it
Yo,
is.
what's
Nice
the
contrast
sauce,
to the
bro? What's the
cuddle.
sauce? What's the 6 digit? What's the 6 digit? You
I
bastard?
can't tell you the digits because I never remember. I would always have to
damn it.
copy it. I would have to copy and paste
Oh,
it
is this
whenever
that
I see
code,
it.
the thing that Ron was talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
something like
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Like usually
Woo.
the hentais with the really good art is either ugly bastard or rape. And
You know it. You know it. You
Yeah,
already see
and
the comments.
yeah, exactly. But it's like there's like very few hentai that looks good, has good animation, and is more wholesome. They're not just not popular for some reason, even though
Yeah.
everyone hates ugly bastards.
I
or
think
rape or
people who are
NTR.
into. I mean, a lot of people are into hentai, not just exclusively anime fans, but I think a lot of people who read like a lot of hentai or watch a lot of it are probably really socially awkward and they have like weird fantasies because of that.
Damn.
That's just
true.
my assumption anyway.
I remember when tentacle hentai was considered like super weird, and now
It's like everywhere.
yeah, it's just like who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kazura Miller69 says you guys got a fave lady from JAV.
Yes.
Oh, JAV? Yes, I do. Yes.
And I
I don't watch a lot of JAV. I think did I say this last episode or was this like off the podcast?
I don't remember ever having this conversation.
No, about me, how I feel about Japanese porn.
I think
Oh,
probably
that.
off.
It was off. Yeah, for me, I'm not a big fan of Japanese porn because I don't like the way they moan. It's like it sounds like a child moaning, and it just like makes me
Very true. Very true.
it turns me off. And you know, I don't look at Japanese porn enough to know people who moan like a normal person would. So.
Yeah, and then there's also the pixels too that
Oh yeah,
make it very difficult.
yeah, for sure.
The reason why they have the pixels, because sometimes it's not really. Japan used to have a law where it was like no penetration sex kind of thing.
Wasn't this like after World War II? I think
Was it
when
after World War II?
I think yeah, I don't know where I read this or where I heard this, but I think it was like after World War II, and Japan was making an agreement with the United States, and I think one of the laws the United States forced on Japan was when it comes to like porn laws and there's like censorship, and eventually I think it just got grandfathered into like modern Japanese law.
Yeah.
And
Is that the same thing that happened as to why tentacle porn became a thing? Same
tentacle
reason?
porn was a way to circumvent those censorship laws. Because technically, it's not a penis,
It's
so
a tentacle.
Yeah. And then I think the pixel is just like, it's not like they're actually penetrating, even though like a lot of the cases, I'm assuming they probably are.
it is penetration. Sometimes it penetrates so hard it goes out the other side.
Yeah, because it's pixelated, they can just say, "Oh, yes, you don't know if they are or not." So yeah,
Yeah, which is absurd because everyone knows. It's just one of those like weird dumb laws that everyone knows is BS, but it's just there.
yeah. 'Cause Japan's a weird country, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I
Indeed.
lived there though, even though it's a weird.
They're like really conservative on social things, but then like in other ways they're like they have like those weird sex game shows too at the same time. It's really bizarre.
Because it's art.
But yeah, I have a couple of favorites. Japanese adult actresses.
I'm
All
gonna name one right now.
right.
Everyone's favorite, Maria Ozawa.
I need to look this up. I don't. Maria Ozawa.
Hey, chat, you guys have homework to do. All right,
I
Maria Ozawa. Search her up.
I think that was
I've
everyone's
never seen her
classic.
before.
Wow, that's
Well,
not everyone's
obvi-
classic. Holy shit!
Well, obviously, I just debunked this statement just now because I've never seen her before. I mean, She looks all right.
I thought that was Aaron's classic. Cause that was
I mean,
like,
she looks
Who's?
cute. She looks cute in normal pictures, but she doesn't
Maria
look.
Ozawa.
Yeah,
Oh.
if I typed it incorrectly.
see, Kenny knows. Kenny knows the classic.
Yeah, she's a classic.
All right, well, I don't know who she is.
To be fair, Paul,
Paul, you got
like,
homework
yeah.
to do, bro.
I guess I do.
To be fair, you didn't start beating off to like.
Yeah.
Oh, that way.
Yeah.
Is she like the Asa Akira of JAV? Is that what she is?
I think she's very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a very popular Jav.
I definitely said she's like a former pornographic film actress. Yeah, no, don't know who she is.
I think like early, no, not really early. I think like 2007-ish, 2008-ish.
Yeah.
No, I mean, here's the thing. Here's the weird thing about me. I watched porn starting at the age of 10, and I kind of did that regularly. I just never thought to like masturbate or beat off. It just never crossed my mind. I just look at the sexy ladies. That's it. That's it. It's the weirdest thing. So she never came across my radar. But for me, some of the JV actresses that I like would be Aika.
Yeah, Aika.
Yeah, Aika. For some reason, her name's like in all caps. For some reason, Aika. And then there's I think her name's like Julia Boyne as well. Also like a older Japanese MILF actress. And I think the third one would be I need to type this in real quick. Fuck. I'm having a hard time remembering the third name. I'll get back to you guys on that.
We let the viewers know. They need to know too.
No, I'll find it. I'll find it.
They're like, all right, we got 3 chicks. We need the 4th one from Paul. We're good.
All right. Oh, Mio Kimijita. There we go. Oh, Mio Kimijima. There we go.
There you go, chat. You guys are welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, if you guys want to drop a comment reviewing these girls in our YouTube, just drop it up over there. Let us know what you guys think.
Yep.
Yep. And those are the 3. Sometimes I try to look up Japanese, like actual Japanese porn, but I do get disappointed sometimes looking at their
the blur.
no, not the blur. Yes, the blur. I'm disappointed by that. That's kind of expected at this point, so I'm already going in knowing that's going to happen. But no, really, it's more like the cover picture or the poster of the girl, and you're like, oh shoot, she looked real cute. She looked fine. And then you try to look up more about that specific actress, and you're like, huh, you look kind of different. I felt there was a lot of Photoshop involved here.
Kazuhira says, Paul, man of taste.
Ah, thank you.
Who's the one Jav
Last one?
actress that was in the podcast Trash Taste? Damn,
Oh,
is it?
it's like Kaho something.
Yeah, I used to love her stuff.
Shibuya Kaho.
Yeah.
There we go. I never seen her stuff, and I don't know. For some reason, I have a hard time viewing her as a porn star, even though she's a former porn star. I just more view her just like wholesome Japanese content whenever she's on Trash Taste or anything related to that.
I met I saw her before Trash Taste, so I was like, oh shit. Her.
I know you. I've seen you naked.
Her and I think it starts. I just know her first name. It's Ryoko. Yeah. She's also a MILF. Jav. Her stuff was good.
You have any Jav actresses, Kenny?
Other than who Paul mentioned, I can't put can't name anyone else that, or no one comes to mind.
Okay.
Mhm.
I guess
Indeed.
I guess that wraps it up for the Jav girls. And like I said, I don't know any, so I can't participate in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys already know it's like the influx of like former porn stars or people who still are porn stars, like going into like YouTube or Twitch, and
I know Mia Malkova is like
Mia
doing that.
Malkova, Sasha Grey. Those are the two that come to
I
mind.
love her. Sasha Grey.
Yeah, yeah, indeed. You just like look at like some of the clips that pop up on my recommendations on YouTube. It just seems like a very wholesome experience. I bet it feels like it's such a huge dichotomy between like former porn stars doing Twitch and more e-girls doing Twitch.
Yeah.
Because like it seems like the former porn stars are a lot more conservative with their clothing. Because like been there, done that. Whereas
it's not like they
girls.
can't find out anyways. You know,
It's like
exactly.
90% of you guys have probably seen me naked in a different website, so I'll just
Yeah, it's not like it's a secret that was a porn star. Yeah.
Yeah. So even though I've watched a lot of Sasha Grey's like previous content before she moved on to Twitch,
the GB stuff, huh?
Yeah, yeah, but
what?
But now when I look at her, like I have a hard time even viewing her as a porn star. She seems like a really cool person.
Like to me, she's just
really
like
chill.
the content creator.
Yeah, she seems more like a older sister sort of figure, but not in a sexual way. Just like cool older sister.
It could be, but
it could be, yeah. But yeah, it's more humanizing, and I kind of like it.
Yeah,
it's more wholesome. Yeah.
Have you guys, Kazuhira says, have you guys seen that clip of chat asking Sasha Grey how she poops?
No.
I have not. But I have seen the one where she's measuring something while cooking, and she's like, "Yeah, I think that's about 12 inches."
Yeah.
And then she like turns to the camera, and like, "Don't ask me how I know."
She just has a ruler. She has a mind. She has a ruler in her mind.
She's really good at math.
Yeah, she's good at measuring.
Yeah, I think her life is pretty interesting because I think she was like an actress after porn too, right?
She?
I think she was in some big show or something. And
probably.
She was like an actress for a while, and I guess she's doing streams now, or both. I don't know.
But, yeah, she's doing, Twitch stuff.
Yeah, some former porn stars I know who moved on and did like other forms of entertainment would be like Sunny Leone, who
Bollywood actress.
Bollywood actress now in India.
They hated her because she had the history of.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, that's India. They're very a
lot of like conservative.
I was
when
shocked.
It comes to, like,
she's done with that shit.
Yeah, but you know how people are.
I mean, it's not like it doesn't happen here too. Like in America, like there's so many stories of like PTA moms who get in trouble because they've been found out that they were in porn for a while or something.
Yeah, it's so weird how some people get other people. It's like you dig into these people's past and like, hey, she used to be a porn star and like she's a bad person. Like, that's not how it works.
Who the fuck cares what she did, dude? Like she's just even if she's still doing it, she's just doing it because either she wants to or she's just doing it as a job.
Yeah, it's
Just who gives a fuck? Just leave them the fuck alone. Let them live their lives or do what they want without the stigma of being a former porn actress.
Yeah, I mean that's just usually like tied to like culture or in many cases due to religion as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like Sunny Leone. There's like the Morgan Lee. I think some of you guys may know. I think she does music. I don't think she does porn anymore. Really? Yeah, and yeah,
A1.
And I think Yumi Anime does porn, but also does music as well.
There's a girl. There's a porn actress called Yumi Anime.
Yes.
Yeah.
She does like
What?
softcore now. Like it's not really.
Yeah.
It's just solo
Yeah.
stuff.
I think it's like mostly like solo or softcore. It's just
Solo
very
or-
little like
Yeah.
actual people fucking her.
Yeah.
So it's more like a OnlyFans content sort of thing. It's she's I don't know what kind of Asian she is. I
She's
think it's
Asian.
either
Yeah.
either Korean, Japanese mix, or I think she's from the Ukraine.
Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, Russian, something like that.
Damn, Paul, you're like an encyclopedia with porn stars, bro.
Sometimes
Paul
when
has
I
done
am
his homework.
yeah, sometimes I don't know why. Sometimes like whenever I'm beating off to like a very pretty girl, like I was like I want to know a little bit more. Just like look up some stats.
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't remember it as much as you remember these stuff. Like I've
Yeah, it's
definitely,
like you dated them or something.
I've definitely like damn. I wonder like what she's like.
For me, I only know like some of this stuff only if like I come across it. Like with me and Makova, I think I saw a video where she goes on a date with like the Hearthstone streamer Trump, and then I was like, oh, what
Yeah.
the fuck? This is wild. And then I found out through that she streams, but like most of the stuff I don't, I haven't really looked into like a lot of these people.
Yeah,
Good.
for Mil Malkova, she actually appeared on a podcast that I used to regularly listen to. So I'm like, oh shit, that's dope.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of the same thing too.
Yeah. Damn, Paul,
Mhm.
you're so wholesome, bro. I just beat off and I'm done. Like after I finish, I'm like, I look at the video, I'm like, ugh, disgusting, and I just turn it
Sometimes
off.
you just get curious how what she's like.
Most of the time, it's not even like after I finish because like once I'm done, like all right, I don't have the urge, I don't care anymore. But it usually happens like in the middle of it, and I literally just stop. Like I literally just stop eating, and like, okay, time to start searching. I'm like I don't know why. I just get curious.
I have no words. How you just stop in the middle?
All right, what about you, Kenny? Help me feel not so alone. You a Googler or you just close the
Nah,
window?
I just I don't get as curious as Paul. Like if I think I don't really look into stats afterward. I'm like once I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah, like I can see why if you're like, oh, I beat off to her all the time. You know what was she like as a person, or what is she like as a person?
Yeah.
But Paul here, like, it's like, hey, I got this whole book ready. I have clip notes of each one. You know, like I'm ready to go. You need porn actress trivia? I got you. All right, here we go.
Paul goes to Jeopardy. Yeah, porn trivia for 1,000.
And I don't do that for like every porn star I see, but I do it for the ones that catch my interest.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which is all of them.
Yeah,
I
and
never.
I think I usually just like search up the age, just because like is it MILF? Who knows?
If it's not a MILF, he just like is like, you tricked me, you fooled me. He just like goes to him.
If it's like it is getting to the point where it is like kind of weirding me out, especially if I found out that the porn star is younger than me or like a lot younger. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. This feels odd.
When I was like 18, I'll be okay with the videos were like 18, but now whenever I see like when the title's like 18-year-old girl, I'm just like nope, like too much.
I know. I look at it like, oh no, you're a child.
yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure if you're like older than these 18-year-old girls and you're watching this, I'm pretty sure you're low key a pedo.
Yeah, I mean, it also weirds me out too, and makes me kind of sad. Like, man, these young girls are getting it more than I am.
I mean, all you have to do
literally the job.
Chop off your dick, Paul, and then be like, hey, it's your boy Paul. I'm here, ready for the scene. I don't got a dick no more. I have a boosie now, and I'm ready to go.
Boosie? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I learned it the other day. Apparently, it means boy pussy or some shit. Boosie.
No, I don't like that. No.
Paul, just get a boosie and show up in porn, bro.
No. I'm happy with how I am.
But anyway, I never says Kenny's been quiet because he's a freak deep down inside. How you feel about that?
Maybe not.
Oh, there
What about
you
you? I never.
Wait, don't you guys remember my? Was it? I think I sent my BDSM test under
It should
Ron's
be.
account, and Ron, and
Yeah,
then Paul was like, "Wow."
it's in our chat somewhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did that. Yeah.
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 Well,
What about you,
all
iNefer?
it confirms is all of us are very boring.
I never. What about you? Are you a freak? Let us know. He says, "I'm a bystander's podcast. I don't answer questions. I only ask them." Oh, you piece of shit.
What a cunt.
Only goes one way.
It only goes one way.
Hey, come on the podcast, and then we'll show the world how you really like it. Okay.
Yeah. Next Wednesday, you'll be our guest. How about that, bro?
Oh boy.
Next
All right.
Wednesday. How you feel
Hey,
next Wednesday?
If you're lucky, you'll replace Jeffrey. Okay. You take his spot. All right. We're an hour and 25 in. You guys want to keep going or call it here?
I'm good.
That sounds a good amount. That
Yeah.
sounds good.
Okay.
We very rarely go over the 60-minute mark. And
I
usually at
know.
that point, we're like, fuck. We need things
All
to
right.
say.
So, guys, this is the 31st episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it, even though me and Paul went at it, in more of the ways than one.
Like
Wink,
I say
wink.
it like that.
Hey,
The sexual frustration too, Paul. Come on.
we got to sell it to the audience, okay? We gotta
Of
sell it to
course.
them. This is a
The
this is a
audience
grand
gotta
fight.
know, like, damn, these two.
If you want another debate, let us know. I don't think you do though. It's just two people talking the whole time. All right, you don't want me and Paul to talk. Remember the episode we did 2 weeks ago? You guys want that? Except instead of agreeing with each other, we're just like arguing. You guys
Hey,
want
it
that?
did-
They want it
better than our
heated,
usual.
bro.
It kind of went better than our usual political podcast.
Yeah, that did. That is true. And in my eyes, that wasn't heated. I was
No,
just yeah.
Definitely not.
If you want heated, watch me debate Joram, bro, or worse, this guy whose name rhymes with Macy Burr. All right.
Oh, we should ask Joram if we could debate.
No, Joram's busy though.
That's true.
Yeah. Maybe spring break if he's willing to do it. Maybe we can do it then.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, catch us on YouTube. Links in the description below. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, drop a comment, reacting to some stuff. We want to see what you guys react to some stuff that we say. And if you guys want to watch us live, we'll watch us on twitch.tv/the_Nincompoops every 6:30. I think it's not PST anymore because we just
It's
did the
PDT.
daylight saving.
I checked. It's PDT.
It's now 6:30 PDT every week,
Thank God.
or sometimes a little later. But,
Also, make a petition to keep California PDT. We're
Yeah.
tired of switching the clocks around.
Yeah, I remember I went home from work and then I went to take a shower. I mean, it wasn't right away, but then I took a shower and I came back. It was like 3 all of a sudden, even though it was just like 1 o'clock a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
That was bullshit.
Actually,
But
had that happen to me too. I was in the shower and then came back. It was like 3. I was like, what the fuck?
We were just in there for a whole hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, and catch you guys next time. And welcome back, Kenny. We'll bring back someone for the next week.
We'll
Probably
try.
not,
We'll
but
try.
We'll try. All right.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye.
Boy.